The Boys, Season 3. That's right, folks. The little engine that can't stop, won't stop, will continue to go forever. I am blown away by the phenomenon that is The Boys, because I implore you, I dare you, go throughout anything in this genre, anything in the comic book genre, and look for another piece of art that elevates its source material the way The Boys has. I dare you. You won't find one. It took this angry, self-implosive story about a man's hatred towards the companies that he worked for and turned it into this self-referential attack on politics and ideas, and it is so brilliant. Season 3 of The Boys, I think, is the best season yet, and that's coming off of two very good seasons. This one, they're like, oh, we know what we're doing. These are crazy times we live in. We're going to attack the world. And not just the world, a certain type of politic in particular. And that's the thing we need to make abundantly clear, apparently, for some people, is that The Boys is a political show. You are not supposed to root for Homelander or Blue Hawk or Soldier Boy. You are supposed to see them as the wrong type of men with all of the power in the world destroying a nation. That's the point of the show. Please don't attack me for saying that. Don't get mad at the creators or the actors for doing that. They're not people to idolize. They're dangerous, self-implosive, and destructive. A lot like the people in power in certain political forms. Like this season just said, what if we took the anger and hostility we've been feeling through certain climates of political power, certain quarantines we have been feeling, and this like trapped isolation we have, and just expand it into a world where the man in charge could literally explode and kill us all. That's what this feels like. And it's a really cool way to explore that. Just not even in like terms of like the parody, where it's like we're gonna make jokes about, you know, like Imagine and Gal Gadot in the Kylie / Kendall Jenner, whichever Jenner it was, Pepsi ad. We're gonna make those jokes, but it's like, what if we show you how toxic it could be for a man in this position to influence an entire populace and screw them over into thinking he's important and a real leader? And what happens when people oppose that, and you have two giant political spectrums vying for different things? It is intensely realistic and frightening in that aspect. And putting it in the vibes of the superhero show almost makes it a little more scary, because you know there is real danger at foot at every turn. And that is just like the underlying theme of this season, is like this danger of political power being emulated by everything. And it is so surface level that you're seeing it that it's really dangerous and scary. I really like that feeling, and I think it just made for some really intense, scary television that you're just on the edge of your seat every scene, every moment. And the other thing I commend this show for doing, because not a lot of other shows do it, is that it lets you hate your characters you are watching. The heroes we are seeing, like the literal good guys, the boys, are making choices you don't want them to make, and you are seeing their downfall. I cannot believe the arc Huey has this season, where he is given this power, uses it terribly, and destroys the relationship and his connection to the people he likes, and suddenly he has the realization towards him, like, oh, I was doing this wrong, I became the people I was fighting against. That is so rare to see. In a third season where our lead character, because Huey's essentially our lead character, learns that lesson? Are you kidding me? That is amazing. That was such a unique thing for him to experience that I don't think other shows would go that route. And Butcher's kind of storyline of like, I am doing this because I have to, not even just for protections, because this is who I was going to be anyways. Now I have a chance to actually do the job I couldn't do before. That's really cool. That's really impressive, and it's just kind of brilliant. And just like the downfall of the rest of the boys, the Kimiko and Frenchie story is so unique, because it's once again, you are giving them happiness and stripping it away at every turn, and you want the best for all these people, but all of them are making the wrong choices and doing the wrong things to find that happiness. For Kimiko, it's more like a selfless act, but for Frenchie, he just becomes broken enough to go down that route. I think the only character that kind of comes out unscathed from that aspect is because Mel kind of finds this way to move forward, and him and Starlight, I think, are the only ones that really get to move forward in terms of like actual power in this story. It's very impressive. Like, he has a great I will not get over this storyline where I think his ex-wife Janine is seeing this new guy, and he is just a Homelander supporter, very much, your political Trump guy. And he's like, I do not want you taking my daughter to these rallies. I do not want you getting my daughter involved in this world. She needs to know what is going on with these people. And he acts out in a terrible way. And you just see the corruption forming around this guy that is dating his ex. It is so scary and realistic. And you just see like the way he is so ready to attack and hurt people and keep himself at a distance. But it's brilliant. It is so cool. Again, I cannot believe these characters from that really weird comic book are getting this intense story. It's giving them real emotion and real character, which I think is very impressive. And I think the best example of that is MM, for just becoming this really interesting character who is intrinsically connected to Soldier Boy. Which, let's talk about Soldier Boy for a bit. I think the biggest concept coming to this season was Jensen Ackles playing Soldier Boy, their Captain America-esque parody. And look, I look at a lot of stuff online. I do. It's part of the job here. And I see a lot of these people just loving Soldier Boy. And I understand it from two reasons. One, Jensen Ackles is delivering a great performance that is just so out of character for him. And two, it is just the Captain America thing. We all love Captain America. Everybody wants to see that character. But Soldier Boy is probably the worst of them all, because you say what you will about... this is a really weird argument I'm about to make. Say what you will about Homelander, but he is a broken man who needs the attention. Soldier Boy doesn't. He can just go in the shadows and do the thing. It's kind of like comparing Trump to Nixon in a sense, where Nixon's like, I will screw you all over, but Trump's doing it for the attention and the praise. It's kind of dark and weird that way. And he's delivering a great performance with a character you're not supposed to like, and people that love this character, you got something messed up in you. He has some great interactions with other characters, and it's very impressive to see that. But in my honest and humble opinion, the breakout, I don't even want to say breakout because it's 3 seasons in, but the breakout performance of this season is obviously Anthony Starr just fully accepting how messed up he is. This is a man just slowly losing his mind in a performance, and I absolutely am here for it. Every single facial tick and expression and the drop of personality and fear and power in his eyes is intense, realistic, and utterly terrifying. I don't think we are seeing this performance anywhere else in media. It is scary and realistic, and it's heartbreaking to watch this powerful, omnipotent being just essentially toying with us on a political level. It's terrifying. And it leads to some very realistic attempts at, I don't even want to say parody of politics. It's just, it leads to some very realistic attempts of how politics are viewed in certain countries today. And that is so intense and scary. And I will never cease to be amazed by how good the storylines are for Maeve and A-Train and the Deep and Black Noir. Like, giving those characters who are just one-dimensional nothings in a book actual leeway is nothing less than impressive. It's such an impressive feat that we took that stupid concept and turned it into this giant story with actual depth and heartache in it. It blows my mind. Not to mention just like the fun cameos from like the Crimson Countess and Hero Gasm and Seth Rogen and Paul Reiser as the Legend. They add to like the sugarcoating of this show that just gives you this really intense feeling. And when it's parodying the politics, it gets really frightening real. The last maybe 5 minutes of this entire season is some of the most haunting television you are going to see, because it is just it's just saying a message that is so poignant in today's political climate that it is terrifying and heartbreaking to see, especially considering recent events. I think that's terrifyingly accurate. But even when it's not parodying those stories, like the actual real world, and it's parodying like superheroes themselves, where it's like, here's the release the blank cut, here's the it's Morbin time stuff, that is very scary. When they're doing a reality show, who's going to be the next contestant, and it's all about the popularity contest and like the white guy, it is terrifying, it is gruesome, and it's just such a good parody. Nothing has compared to what this show has done, just in terms of creating an atmosphere and a tension that is so incredibly itself. Like, I'm blown away that 3 seasons into this type of show, it still manages to shock me and captivate me in ways I wasn't expecting it to. It's rare to see that in a show, especially of this caliber. But my goodness, is everything in this so great. And the directing is fantastic. I just love these slow, shaky cams at times where nothing's really in a still motion. That is such a good feeling, just because we shouldn't be at ease at any moment. I love just the way some characters are really giving their moments and pushing some stuff in a spotlight. To me, I can't believe what they did with A-Train. That will never cease to amaze me, where you gave that nothing character an actual arc where he thinks he's going to learn a lesson and then he doesn't. That is amazing. That is rare. It's just emulating what Huey did. These two men are kind of switching places, where A-Train is now humbled and learning something, and Huey is given the power and is learning nothing. It's a brilliant idea. And I really think the stand-up performances have to go to Homelander, Mother's Milk, Starlight, and I'm gonna say it, Crimson Countess. Like, Laurie Cohn was just incredibly funny and terrifying in those scenes. I really dug it. This season was perfect. It had no faults. It knew exactly the story it was setting out to tell. It set up its next chapter perfectly, and we are getting another chapter. I am super impressed with what The Boys has been able to do for this long in a show like this. It continues to impress me at every turn, and I cannot believe some of the best writing and best acting and best character work from a comic book property is coming from a comic book that hates its own existence. How is The Boys doing that? It's insane. If I had one criticism, it's that the Hero-gasm sequence wasn't Hero-gasm-y enough. But that's not really a criticism. That's just me wanting to see more naked people. Oh, this season was incredible, and I'm blown away by what this show has done. I truly am. So, The Boys Season 3, I'm going to give a 9 out of 10. Now, thank you guys for watching this review. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, you can check me out on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. And as always, I will catch you in the next one. Have fun. Stay safe. Good luck.